What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be showing you two different automations that are going to allow us to create an analytics dashboard for our clay.com workspace. What you're looking at right now is a table view, but we're also able to create a workspace view where every single one of our tables are there, and we can see how many errors, how many run conditions are not met in every single one of our tables. But we're going to start here as it's the simplest way to showcase this analytics dashboard. So we're looking at this table over here, and we will notice that inside this Prospeo find work email enrichment, all of these have resulted in an error. And the reason why they resulted in an error is because I don't have enough credits to perform this action over here. And so having an analytics dashboard or a way to actually get notified for this, because that would be the next step, we would create notifications and Slack things that can tell us, hey, your Prospeo is giving us errors and the errors are coming from this notification. Come in and fix it. That's one of the reasons you might want to have this. Another reason is to have analytics for all of your different data providers. And so we've got Prospeo, we've got ICPs, the Tagma, and all of these other data providers. And so inside my analytics dashboard, I'm able to see that this one, we would probably want to name it appropriately, but we're able to see that this one is finding one email, this one is finding 12 emails, and then this one, actually not 12 emails, and I'll explain that. This one is finding 14, so on and so forth. So regarding that 12 email thing that I just mentioned, so this is find work email number 2. So if we were to look at find work email number 2, that would be the Tagmom. This is considered success, right? Because it ran based on our conditions, right? So we look at this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's why you're seeing 12 over here. But 12 plus 12 does not equal 25. So what's the missing link? The missing link is the fact that we have a missing input over here. And so we want to create a third column. So instead of error success, we want to create another column, which is called missing input, right? We want to create another column that says run condition not met. We want to create another column that tells us another thing. And using all of these different columns, we're able to get a really, really good grasp of how our clay tables are functioning from a high level perspective. And so that's why you're seeing 12 plus 12. It still works, right? And so Prospeo, it's not working. I'm actually going to change this over here. We're going to do 2 runs. And the first run is just going to be bringing the data that we have at the moment and bringing it in. And then the second one is going to be running the Prospeo key to show you how it looks like live. And I'll showcase both automations in a second over here. So I'm going to delete all of this. The graph that you're looking at is going to disappear, and we're going to run this. And so this, I will explain how it's working in a second, but this is going to bring in all of the data again. So missing input, all of these are coming in. Ooh, is that how it's supposed to work? Missing input? It should not be doing missing input. And the other thing is, it's doing this as well. It's adding them in the wrong direction because I added a column. um That is weird. So let me refresh the fields. It's because I haven't refreshed the fields. So missing input would be error, and then this. So I think that's why it was being weird, but I don't think it really matters. Anyways, so let's go back here. We will notice that find work email. So just the regular find work email. Oh, it's all the way at the bottom, but you can see it now. So regular find work email, this is at 0, right? So it's at 0 because all of these have all of these have an error, right? And by the way, this error should actually be called condition not met, right? So that's what it should actually be called, not actually error. So that's why it says 0, 0. right? That's why it says 0, 0. And so let us go ahead and run this Prospeo, and let's use real data to show you what, oh my God. Okay, there we go. So let's change this now. So it's currently at 0, 0. Find work email, that is the Prospeo. We're going to change it and we're going to run it again. And this time around, we've already changed the clay keys, as you recall, right? So I'm going to run these again, and these are going to give us new emails that we can use. And in fact, it's actually going to change all of this data. Did I delete the data? I did. So let's actually do this instead. Let us create a secondary space to show like how the data changed. So this is before. This is before, and this is going to be the after, right? Awesome. So, and then let me delete these ones as well. And so let's run this again. And before we run it, let us refresh the fields. So condition not met, success. And we analyze this. Inside Prospeo, it should now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Because that's how we have set it up. So let's run this and let's see how it works. Boom, goes through, and then it starts creating all of these. So now it's 25 over here. We've got all of these, but the main one we're looking for is the Prospeo one, which is find work email down here. And we've got it. So we've got 10. So that is the idea. Now, if you wanted to get more nuanced, more detailed, you want to be like, I don't just want to know that this is Ren. I want to know that it found an email. We can do all of that. So let's dive into these automations and let me show you how these automations work. The first automation basically gets our clay token. So we use this URL endpoint, input our email, input our password, put the source as null. That's going to allow us to have a cookie that we can then use over here. From there, you are then able to use this URL endpoint to find the table that you are going to be working out of and then extracting the data. And by the way, if you want more details on how to actually set all of these things up, I have created videos for that, and you don't need any request content for that. And once that's been done, you want to use an iterator to go through every single one of the fields. And so this is what the fields are going to look like. So it's going to be in the tables. There's going to be fields, and these fields are going to be find work email, validate work email, all of these different things, right? You want to go through all of them, and then from there, you want to input them in Google Sheets. So how we have the column name, column ID, all of these, this is found from that automation. So every single one of your table is going to have different columns. And so you want to input all of the different column IDs, all of the different column names. Now, there would actually be a step 0 automation. The step 0 automation is actually going to be the workspace automation. And that automation is basically going to look through every single one of our clay tables, and then it's going to input them in a Google Sheets doc. And so I don't know if you could see it here. I'm going to duplicate a few of them. So we've got a bunch of different sheets over here. These would each be different clay tables with different analytics, and we would have a master section, which is going to store which is going to aggregate all of the data together. By the way, this is what it would look like. So you would have a name, you would have a URL to that table, and then you would simply input every single one of your clay tables like this. And these URLs, right? This is what we're inputting in this section over here. So this URL, analyze this URL, is the same as this URL over here. So that's how it works, right? Just making it all work dynamically together. Awesome. So that's step 1. Step 2 does the same thing. We get the clay tokens, and then we do something really cool where we use this URL endpoint over here to get the analytics, but this time around, we do not parse the response. So we've got parse response yes, parse response no. We chose parse response no. Previously, we choose parse response yes. And so By parsing the response, we're going to be getting all of the data in a JSON format that looks something like this. And so this JSON format is what's going to allow us to reduce the number of auto operations that we need to use for our entire workflows. And so this, if set up incorrectly, can take thousands upon thousands upon thousands of operations, especially when you start considering the fact that you might have um, literally like thousands of contact 50,000 contacts in one table. That's ridiculous. And so if you set up this clay table this automation incorrectly, you will find that these numbers 24, 24, 24, 24, these numbers are 500, 1,000, 20,000 based on the columns. So you want to set it up properly, and that's why we're using uh uh a JSON parsing method like this. And from there, we are then grabbing it, right? We're grabbing that data so that it's visually appealing, it works for us, but we don't actually, wait, do we even need that? I just realized we don't even need that anymore. Yeah, I set it up so that we don't even need this anymore. Um, yeah, so we don't even need that anymore. So next thing we do is we go to Google Sheets, right? And so Google Sheets, we're adding all of the information that we had previously added. So condition not met, success, all of these different things, we're basically going to be adding it in Google Sheets. And from there, wait a minute. This is just finding the columns. So this is finding all of the different columns. So find work, email. We're finding the IDs essentially for for. So we're just grabbing these column IDs. I apologize for the confusion there, but that's what we're doing. And so now this is where it gets really cool. So we start to find things inside the document, and we're using a pattern that looks something like this. If you're going to want to like figure out how to create these patterns, I've created a 1 hour long in-depth tutorial on my YouTube channel. Actually, it's not an hour long, it's several parts that are each an hour long. Watch the final one. I believe it's part three or part three or part four. Watch the final one. We're going to be fixing this, and I'll show you how you can find these patterns in that 1 hour long video. But you basically need to find the patterns inside the JSON document. And so let me show you what this actually means. So when we analyze the JSON document, so data, we do a control F, we do metadata, we've got all of this information. And so all of this information and the way that it's formatted and the way that it's organized, all of this is what's going to allow us to know the stats inside our tables, right? And so you basically need to just find the pattern and then figure out how many of these exist. And so if you keep working on this and you keep working on the patterns, you will then be able to figure out the formula for no emails found. And what that might look like, as an example, is an X. So we do this, and then we do no email found, right? So something that says value, no emails found, like this would inform you that inside this field, this right here, which when we control F and we go here, this would be the find work email number 1. Inside that, there's no emails found, right? So on and so forth until you are able to aggregate all of that data into actual numbers that you can paste into your Google Sheets document. And so we match those patterns, we use this aggregator, and then we send all of that information into our Google Sheets document. But like I said, you can actually be like as detailed and nuanced as possible. Now, for anyone who's not watched any of my previous videos, this is how we find this information to set all of this stuff up. You want to inspect element, you want to click on the clay table, you want to click on console, sorry, you want to click on network. There's going to be semantic context. This is where we're going to find the URL that we paste in this section over here. So this URL, wait a minute. That's not the URL. The URL that we paste in that section I'm not remembering it, and I'm tired too. Watch my video, my 1 hour video on YouTube, and there's a full tutorial on that. Anyways, this is how you create an analytics dashboard within Clay.